Oh yeah. Well. Look who's finally shown up to class. I have created this program for anyone who is a little confused on how the mechanics of Mahjong work. And so, I've prepared a special presentation for everyone. And hopefully there will be other people that join us along the journey. But I know some of you are still a little bit like, what the hell is a Mahjong? Well, today, we shall uncover just that mystery. Class outside. Okay, how about this? If you sit through the presentation, we can go outside. You see how it's a beautiful night sky outside? Take the Mahjong pill. What color would the Mahjong pill even be? Well, probably a red one, maybe. Printed with a dragon? That's what I'd say. Also, I think I might have let this one be usable by everyone, as long as you're following, of course. Say it, Mew. Take it away. Not even gonna say a line.
Risky tile discard in Mahjong can change the game's outcome, making
Can't
it
even
thrilling
hear
and
that.
unpredictable.
Anyways. Let's see here. Now let me go to... I actually couldn't hear it myself. Oi, William, welcome.
Become your place well, but needs better luck with draws. A strategy sacrifice might help change the game.
Oh yeah, and I don't think I got to show you this, by the way. The dongle. This is the new closing Patreon presented by our very own.
Our Patreon subs are Bindengo, Kayaneko, and Niepolitalime. They keep Naiko from being evicted and contribute to charity. Doki Doki Bem Heart 2개.
Yeah, whatever she just said. It is a Korean accent. How did you know? But yeah, it's very, very accurate. Sorry for the jump scare. Oh, she was just thanking our Patreon subs. And if you subscribe, you keep me from being evicted and contribute to charity. Doki Doki, Snake 2 hearts. I haven't decided what accent I wanted to go with, but something other than just like vanilla English was what I was looking through. Doki Doki. Okay, now let's get to business. Okay, let me move this chat somewhere more reasonable. Maybe like right there. You guys can hang out with Miyu. Yo, Nia, welcome. You've arrived just on time for class. We were just about to start. Phew. See? Like I said, we get to go outside at the end. But you must sit through 40 slides of my special presentation to get there. Let's have fun today, Nia. It's not that bad. I made this with the intention of making it as simple as possible, even simpler than the guides that are like quote-unquote beginner's guide. Well, you can stay inside, but well, actually, no, you have to come outside with us. Even you require sunlight to live. That's what I will say. All right, welcome to Simple Mahjong by Nico. So, you must be wondering, how do I play? And what is the quickest way to start? I don't want any of these random terms, this random Japanese. I just want to play the video game. All right, well, you're going to learn some random Japanese, but I'll do it in a more palatable way. Let's begin. So why should you trust me? Because you should trust me, bro. Yeah, that's my reason. And all of this information was gathered from what I call the Mahjong Bible, Richi Book 1, which we have in our Discord, by the way. I pinned it. If you want to go from a beginner, from scratch, all the way up to intermediate, the holy text will guide you there. So everything there, everything that I'm talking about here is objective, factual, real, true. So when you play Mahjong, by the way, how to win, don't let your HP drop to zero. We're just gonna talk about that. So when I recommend Mahjong Soul always because it's the most beginner friendly. It's cute. It has gotcha. A gamba of the day. Am I right? Woo! Let's go. And I lost my train of thought. Anyways, it's also free. You can play it on the phone. Oh, and let me give everybody points for the day. There we go. We now have all the points. You may gamble to your heart's content. Points for all. It's not rigged. Someone is bound to win. See? The magic code. We have our first winner, everybody. Nago with 69 points. Oh, look at that. Our first all-in. 100,000 points off the first one. And you say, you call that rigged? No, no, no. Oh, oh, oh. Well, not all of us can, not all of us can be winners. Oh. Perfect, indeed. It's not that expensive to live in this chat. Yep, see? But every time you come to stream, I will give you 50,000 knee coin to gamble to your heart's content as my generous proposition. All right. Now, continuing on, Mahjong Soul, that is what I recommend on the PC, on mobile, and on the Game Boy Advanced. And this is what you'll normally see when you get into a game. You'll be like, what the hell is all this? All right, let's break it down piece by piece. First, here is how I look at Mahjong. You and 4 other people are trying to build a train. Yes, a train with a head and 4 parts. Oh, this is exactly what this lesson is for. So we can understand what even is going on. So you and 4 other people are trying to build an Exodia before anyone else. Some Exodias are better than others. And in the middle, 20,000 life points for everybody. So the game ends when somebody gets shadow roamed, which means dropping to 0 points, or 4 rounds or 8 rounds pass by because they're quick and long games. And of course, your goal is to have the most points at the end and not go to 0 points. Pretty simple. All right, so like I said, we're building trains. What do you need? A pair and 4 blocks. So a pair is just 2 tiles. Look at that. Simple enough, right? All right, let's add another block. Boom, a sequence. So we have 1 block, 2 blocks with a triplet. A 3rd block, another sequence. Move myself over here. And another triplet. This is a winning hand. Do you see this beauty? A pair, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 blocks. That is your goal. So, question is, how do we get there? Well, to do that, we have to understand what we're playing with. So we have the numbered tiles first. And they come in 3 suits. Oh, too soon. So you have the character tiles, or the man tiles. So they all go through 1 through 9. So we got the man tiles, the soul tiles, which is short for sozu, in Japanese for bamboo, and the pins. I like to remember like pinballs, you know? So you have those, and it's crucial to keep in mind which ones are numbered and which ones are the honor tiles. So here, as you can see, we have one of each cardinal direction, east, south, west, and north, in that order. And then the white dragon, green dragon, and red dragon. So, having said that, let's apply it to our hand. And here's a little reference page. I will also be dropping this in the Discord if you want to see the whole PowerPoint for yourself. But yes, all of the tiles are here. And every tile is 4 copies. So always keep that in mind. It's like counting cards, but you get to see which cards are dropped. So, back to that example. Don't worry, we're almost there. So now, having seen that, we have our pair, which are the 7-mon and the 7-mon. And then the sequence of 3-so, 4-so, and 5-so. Then the triplet, 1 pin, 1 pin, and 1 pin. In Mahjong Soul, it's actually even easier because there would be a number on the top right corner, like around here. So you don't even have to think about it, especially these tiles. You don't have to memorize the kanji. It'll just say 7 on it. Make your life a lot easier. And then another triplet. Move myself here. And then let's do another sequence. You can get these in any order you like, just as long as you have 4 blocks at the very end of it. But when you get into a game, your hand is more likely to look like this. What are you even looking at? Let me lower this music. It's hype, but okay. All right. So your hand is most likely going to look like this at the start. How do you even make sense of all this? All right. Well, first you should know that in every round of Mahjong, you take turns drawing tiles. So this would be your draw tile. And you have to discard one in the same turn. So, a way to make it less visually painful to look at, I like to start with finding our pair. I always say that the pair is the most important part because if you don't have the train car, there's no going anywhere. So, there. Let me move you to the side. Move you. So there, start with the pair. That's our pair. And then we have to look at the blocks that we have already finished, so we don't have to worry about them. In that case, it would be this sequence and this triplet. And since we already have those that we don't have to worry about, we can look at what we do have to worry about, what we have to build into a block. So either a full sequence or a triplet, which in this case would be this set, 1, 2, and 5 pin, and the 7 and 8 so. And since we just drew a 3 pin, naturally we would discard this 5 pin so that we can make a block of 1, 2, and 3 pin. That's how you build blocks in this game. And also, we'll go over the other way to do that, but drawing and discarding is the bread and butter of the whole thing. And so we're left with one more incomplete block. So how do we fix that? Let's try drawing another tile. Okay, in this case, we got another 8 so. And now, what do we discard? Because we have to discard one. In my opinion, I would say that we would discard the 8, so we just drew, actually. And then when you're at the point of having only one tile left to finish your final block, your hand is ready to win. And you get the call Ricci. I'll go over that in a second. But let's compare what would happen if we discarded the 7 instead of the 8. So I made this one next. Here you go. All right. So remember how a block can be a triplet or sequence? If you drop the 7, so you would have to make a triplet out of your pair or the 8s. And since there are already 2 of each, there's only going to be 4 tiles left for you to win that hand. But if you drop the extra 8, so instead, you'd be waiting on completing this sequence instead. And usually there would be 4 more copies of the 6 and the 9, right? So we would prefer to make sequences over triplets at the very end, especially towards that. Yes. So one thing to keep in mind is that while you're moving towards your final block, you want to ideally have it so you would be completing a sequence like this one. And since there's 2 sides to be waiting on, that's a 2-sided wait. That would give you your best chance of winning. But if you can only get something less, then you might as well just go for it. Okay. And so like I said, once you're waiting on the last tile, you didn't call chi or pawn, which would open your hand. So don't call chi or pawn yet, unless you have a reason. If you didn't open your hand by calling any of those, and you're waiting on the last tile, you can call Ricci. I personally like keeping my hand closed to get to Ricci because it's hype as fuck. So you call Ricci, and what that would do is firstly give you a win condition, because you need a win condition to win a hand at all. It also puts your hand on autopilot and gives you a lot of points if you win. So typically, you want to, by default, be moving towards Ricci. All right, so let's say you do get the last tile. You can get it either by drawing it yourself for a sumo, and everybody has to pay up, splitting the cost, or somebody discards it, and they have to pay the whole cost. That is how people get shadow realmed. And in a little bit, we'll go over how to prevent yourself from getting shadow realmed. Okay. So, just like I mentioned earlier, your hand is considered closed if you do not click the shiny button that says chi, pawn, or kan. You only do your discards and your draws. So basically, you just NPC your way to a winning hand until it says Ricci. That's usually how you get a lot of points. It's typically safer. But there's also the other option. Making open hands. Yes. That button really do be shiny. It's like, why don't I press pawn? What's the worst that could happen? Well, actually, the worst that could happen is that you have no win condition. Oh yeah. Yes, and if you draw 4 tiles on your own, you can call Khan and keep your hand closed. Wink. But if somebody else puts out the 4th tile, it would open your hand. So just keep that in mind. But if you're going to do an open hand in general, you have to find another win condition other than Ricci. Or you can open your hand to get it on into a ready state where you only need one more tile to win. And so when you're in the last draw, everybody gets paid, as long as you're ready. Okay. So, how do you call chi, pawn, or con? You get them from the other people's discards. Hello, Toriel the Panda. Welcome. We are just going over our little presentation on playing Mahjong from scratch. And even if you're a little bit late, I thank you for the follow too. Thank you.
골뱅이 TORIETHPANDA Another accomplice has joined. 웰컴. 니컴이요 손뼉.
What? Okay, whatever she just said. We might have to do a little lobotomy. Hold on, let me lower her volume a little more. We can't keep jump scaring the chat. But yes, continuing on. When you see the shiny buttons, what did they do? Chi lets you complete any sequence. So just like the other one. If you have a 7 and an 8, and somebody, the person to your left specifically, drops a 6, you can use that to finish this sequence. Same with a 9. And then, pawn, you might know this one, is if you have a pair, and then somebody drops another 9, you can call pawn and add it to that block to complete it. And con, like I said, if you already have a triplet, if you draw it by yourself, you make a closed con. Lobotomy mentioned. Or if somebody else drops it, then you open your hand and add it to your triplet. Now, why would you do that? Well, with pawn and con, you could skip other people's drawing stages because let's say this is you, then there's another person here, another person there. And this guy gives you a tile for pawn. So instead of, letting this person draw the next tile, it just goes straight to you and you get to discard. You'll see what I mean when we do some games. But you just force it to be your turn with pawn and con. And also, it opens extra bonus tiles. Con for flow, obviously. Because you get to draw another tile after you take the con tile. That's usually what that means. There are other things to that, but it is out of the scope of this lesson. So, like I said, if you're going to open your hand, you need to make sure that you have a win condition to make up for not being able to reach chi. Because no win condition, no hand. Exactly that. You never know. Because there are extra hidden tiles. But yes, the most common one to open your hand with is the yakuhai. So, triplet of any of these dragon tiles, or your wind tile, which is the wind that's facing you, or the round wind, which is displayed right in the middle. And if you get a triplet of them, like in this case the dragons, then you can keep your hand open and call chi, pawn, con to your heart's content. That would make your hand go so much faster. I mean, it would be worth less, but if it's the only way your hand is going to be made, you might as well. A lot of people, when they have a pair, let's say they have a pair of red dragons, they will wait until somebody inevitably drops the third one and open their hand for speed. And just keep that in mind. Another wind condition you can go for, if you can't get a triple of the wind, Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing about that is if you go for a really fast hand, you might completely deny somebody's super expensive hand. They might, in fact, have like 4 closed cons, Chankandora 12, waiting on Rinshan for double Yakuman, and your 1000 life point hand just says no. And there's nothing they can do about it. They should have built their hand faster, is what they should have done. So applying girl math, your hand is worth exactly every piece of all of those points that they could have done. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, breathe. If you cannot find a triplet of your wind, the round wind, or any dragons, you have another alternative, also quite famous. Tanyao. And that comes from, as the name of today's lesson, Tanyao Tuesday, is all simples. And in this example, yep, classic Tanyao. It's actually so easy to build sometimes that you will have lobbies in other Mahjong games that straight up ban Tanyao. I think it's funnier to have it. And in this hand, only number tiles. So no dragons, no wins. Only 2 through 8. Just like this example. So you can cheap pawn con your way to an all simples hand if you want to be quick. This one's a little bit less common, but if you use only one numbered suit, yep, open Tanyao. Yeah, that's exactly the clarification. So opening your hand for Tanyao is banned in some places, but you can get it if you keep your hand closed by not calling any of those. So, Honitsu, if you only use one numbered set or numbered suit and any combination of honor tiles, that would count for this Yaku or win condition. And I didn't feel like making another slide for this, but there's also one for having all of your blocks be triplets, except your pair, of course. So that's also an option for you. Now, how do you prevent yourself from being shadow realmed? The simplest way is to look at your opponent's discards. Every turn, you and everybody else gets to draw and discard, right? So if they call Ricci, which is letting you know that they only need one tile to win, and you want to play safe, just discard the same things they've discarded. That's because of a rule called Foodie 10. They can't call run on a tile they've already discarded. They can still win if they draw the winning tile themselves, but they can't take it from you. And that's why that would be the easiest way to do defense. If you're not confident, your hand will manifest. But if you don't have any such tiles, it's better to go with tiles that are harder to create sequences or triplets with. So this is the order I would go with. You would go with wins that are not their seat or the rounds. Then the dragon tiles, and maybe their seat tiles. And the numbers 1 and 9, because they are on the outside. Because why 1 and 9? Look at it like this. Is it? Is that actually the case? Oh. So what would you say is the advice against this beginner trap? Because I can see if they had like a 2-3 and then they're waiting on 1 and 4, then that outside advice doesn't really apply as much. It's almost as dangerous as like a 3, 4, and a 5. It does tend to happen a lot. I wouldn't say that these numbers are particularly super safe. So to clarify what the safety of those tiles is that they're still most likely risky, but the amount of hands that they can make using those numbers, the numbers 1 and 9 are less flexible for that. In contrast, numbers towards the middle are more flexible in making blocks by themselves. And so there are other aspects to defense. Things like Suji. I learned Suji. I didn't prepare a slide for that, but I'm more than happy to go over it right now. All right. And help me out if I make any mistakes because I'm drawing from my own understanding of Suji. So to do Suji defense, let's say your opponent calls Richi and they drop the 3, right? So the Suji of 3 would be 6, assuming they are waiting on a 2-sided wait. Remember how we prefer those? So if they drop the 3, they can't be waiting on a 6 if they're going for a 2-sided wait. I hope that makes sense. Other way around. Thank you for the clarification. So if they drop the 6, then the 3 would be the Suji. So we can set it like that. So 7 and 8, if they were waiting on that. 4 and a 5. Yeah, that would be half Suji. And that one is not at all as applicable as actual Suji like this one. Only way for 6 to be Sujis is if 3 and 9 are discarded. So 6 is now safe. Or safer. You never know sometimes because if they drop a 3, let's say they had 3, 4, they can do something sneaky, like making a less efficient wait by dropping the 3, expecting you to, here, let me do it like this. So if they drop the 3, they're thinking, oh, they can't be waiting on, wait, I tried to visualize it. If you have a numpad, look at each column. The top and bottom numbers are safe if the middle number is tossed. And if the top and bottom numbers are tossed, the middle is safe. That's actually pretty brilliant. I didn't think about it like that. Thank you so much. So, right, if you put the numbers that way, so let me look at it again. Middle's number is tossed. So, let's say yeah, it doesn't explain why, but for absolute beginners who don't want to get into the hard theory, it's an easy way to remember that, yes, it just makes it work. It's safer. It's not foolproof, but it's safer. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we're more or less about done, believe it or not, because I only intended to show how to build blocks and the most bare bones way of playing Mahjong. The other beginner guides go more comprehensively into explaining why certain things work. But as for now, I would recommend learning how to have good tile efficiency. Mm-hmm. Exactly. They don't know. Yeah, just the absolute bare bones. Just so you can start getting your feet wet and then start picking things up as they go and when we go over other concepts in the future. So like Icy Phoenix was explaining, if they drop a 1, that would make the 4 safer, if I understand that correctly. And then let's say they dropped a 6, that would make the 9 and the 3 safer. Mm-hmm. They drop a 1 or a 7, that would make the 4 safer. And again, if they drop the 2 or the 8, that makes the 5 safer. Mm-hmm. Or, like I just mentioned, if they drop the 6, that makes the 3 and the 9 safer. And that's all relying on them trying to weight on a 2-sided weight, such as 4, 5, and 6. So if they drop a 6, they cannot be waiting on a 3. Mm-hmm. But that would be the gist of defending through Suji. It's just remembering people like to go for 2-sided weights, and if their hand can't possibly make that, it's a reasonable drop. People can trick you with that though, so just keep that in mind. But that is a little bit outside the scope of this. Okay, and I mentioned the bonus tiles or the Dora tiles. If you look in the top left corner, you'll see that one tile is indicated or flipped up here. Also means that it's outside of the game, so there's only 3 copies of this particular tile. The number above that, so since that's a 3, the 4 mon would be worth extra points. Just as much as a Yaku. Most of them, at least, that are worth 1. And the key to getting a lot of points is to try to keep all of those shiny tiles that show up in your hand. Obviously, if you can't win a hand with all of the shiny tiles, then you might as well just throw them away, especially early. They also tend to be much more dangerous because people want to have more shiny tiles themselves. So, let's get into the game in a little bit. But before we do that, if you wanted to double check the Yaku on the Mahjong Soul screen, you can always go here to the cog wheel, click that, and then click View Yaku. The tutorial in-game is also pretty decent from what I've experienced. I actually drew some of the inspiration for these slides over on that. You throw Dora because you're a coward? No. I like to keep them just for fun. It's all up to you as a player how you decide how aggressively you want it to play or how defensively you like to play. And I think on Mahjong Soul, you can actually look at your stats here. No, lock me up. Yes, I hope that wasn't too much. I did try. And also I appreciated the little corrections from everyone in chat. That was really helpful. But I did try to make it as short as possible. So, in terms of playstyle, here. Only got jump scared before the lesson and during. You can look at your win rate and your deal-in rate. So an easy way to see where if you're going in the right direction. Good. Is I'm not sure. I believe it's having a 10% difference between you getting shadow realmed and you actually winning your hand. So anything above this number means you're on a good path. You're not dealing in too much and you're winning your hands enough. And also, of course, the price of your hands as well. So that's it. Do we have any questions? Anything that needs to be clarified? I'll be happy to do my best to go over them. And if we don't, that's fine. We can go ahead and start playing some games. And I will explain to my best the kind of thought process that I have while I'm looking through my discards and draws. I also plan to go back through the VOD and with the corrections that were given and all the extra information. I wanted to do a full video and release that to YouTube. Thank you for following Icy Phoenix. And
골뱅이
assisting.
ICILVNIX Another accomplice has joined. Welcome Nikom.
You done? We made it to 60 followers, guys. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's set to the Korean accent right now. 60 followers. We only need 9 more. Thank you, thank you. That was all you guys, by the way. All right, let's go try some video games. Actually, let me go ahead and do a bot match. That way we have time to actually think and apply exactly what we just learned. So, 4-player. Oh no. I wouldn't even say I know the game that well at all. I only know mostly the basics and some intermediate stuff. But because this game goes really, really deep, even the Mahjong Bible, Retreat Book 1, there was supposed to be, yeah, it's a ChatGPT bot most of the time. I think. Right. So go ahead and add that. Let me see if there's anything else. East game. Okay. Seems good. Then I will add the bots. We'll do normal bots. Despite how the difficulty looks, they're actually quite mean towards beginners, but there is an easier one as well. We can make 4 red 5s. Yeah. Let me see what the default option is. because you can add more red 5s. Not that one. It is here. Yeah. So by default, you have 3 red 5s. And you can increase that. Some setups don't even have red 5s in general. Let me see. Which suit has only 2? Can we even find it just like that? In Mahjong. We don't play cards. Oh. It's too esoteric of information, isn't it? But trying to think of red 5s is a bit more advanced, but it is something to keep in mind of for sure. Because they are guaranteed Dora tiles. And you can make your hand choices allowing for the chance for a red 5 to be drawn into your hand or to win off of it. Making sure I have it up there. Let me differentiate myself just a little bit. Yep, a red 5 can be a Dora tile and a red 5, making it worth double. Then let me turn on this. Do we have sound? Oh, that's fine. Let me double check my settings. All right. Okay, we do in fact have sound. So, if you remember, we have to identify the parts of our hand from the get-go. Immediately what I could see is that we can save these, the 2 mon, as a pair, and then we can look at the rest. So next would be our complete blocks. That would be this 4, 5, and 6, which so happens to have a red 5, so it's worth a little bit more. Then like we talked about, the number that's +1 gets to be worth more, which is this 7 mon that's all nice and shiny. So we might try to keep that if we can, but it more than likely might not manifest with other tiles. We'll see. Now, what would we most likely drop first, you would ask? Okay, I would start with the honor tiles, just because unless you have a pair of them, it's kind of hard to make triplets out of them by yourself. You would rather have number tiles because they can always turn into a triplet or be part of a sequence. So that's what we'll do. Okay, I got an extra 5. So we'll just start removing tiles that are not so helpful at the moment. Or well, I touched on it, was more like it. I know there's some deeper aspects to it, but I started with the guest tiles, third tiles, and then the dragon tiles. Alright, now let's look at our hand and see where we can go from here. So, let me move myself to the side a little bit so you can see my draw. Alright, so we had this complete block, pair, and now we would need 3 more blocks to complete, right? So, here's how I'm looking at it. You can look at this 1, 3, and 5 as an incomplete block because it'll finish a sequence with 2 and 4, and this 6 and 8 as another incomplete block that finishes with a 7. And so we would need to find a way to make a block out of either the 7 mon, the 1 pin, or the 9 pin. And since in terms of efficiency, we would want to drop the 1 pin first. Yeah, good point. We actually could look at the 4, 5, 5, 6. This one right here as 2 blocks. So if you separate it as 4 and a 5, and a 5 and a 6, you can also see them as 2 separate blocks, depending on what you draw. So these can be blocks, and then these 2 can be your other blocks. Meaning that these tiles would be extras. And in terms of efficiency, you would most likely want to drop the 9 pin first. Why? Because it shares the same space as the 6. So it kind of conflicts in terms of making a sequence. It doesn't really help us that much. So I'll drop the 9. Here we got another 1 pin. Perfect. So that could go with this other one. No, we have to see our blocks. This one's I might actually drop the Dora tile here. And just for speed and to keep the potential for our other potential blocks to manifest. So it's all by itself. We hate to do it, but I'll drop it. You could also still choose to keep it if you wanted to greed in a way. So now look at that. We finished this block. 1, 2. Could be just 2. We'll see. I would probably just fix this one. Is that the right choice? Yeah. I'll just confirm this shape. Keep that as 1. This one, I'll probably drop it. And perfect. The first pair that we had ended up becoming a triple. And now the only shape that we have to build is this one. So I will most likely drop Navitas. Thank you. All the fellas. Thanks for rating. We are just going over, trying to, or well, I am trying my very best to teach everybody how to play super basic Mahjong with the help of Icy Phoenix and everybody else. Welcome, welcome. I am Nico. We do this every Monday. It's just Tanya Tuesday this time. Right. So when we were going over Suji, if somebody drops a 5, if we remember, 2, 5, 8. If they drop a 5, we talked about how the 2 and the 8 become safer, right? But if someone's being sneaky and they have a shape like this, they can trick you into dropping a 2 or an 8. Yeah, right? Welcome, welcome in. Just like that. So people who are subscribing to that will likely fall for it. And like real games. Or well, the bot game too. So let's keep in mind that Ricci was the win condition. That red 5 basically doubled our score. Yeah, so close, if only. Alright, so now let's look at our hand again. So we have a pair, another pair, a white dragon by itself. Actually, I could have quite a few pairs, actually. Hold on, let me look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, let me explain another potential you could do. When you have at least 4 pairs, you can choose... Yeah. I have read something along the lines of tiles that are near the Ricci tile are extra dangerous. Yeah, don't do Suji defense on Ricci tile. And be very careful of tiles. Like, let's say they dropped a 4. Their shape could have been something like this. And they dropped the 4. So 3, 6 would immediately become extra dangerous. The Ricci tile is very spooky. So just keep that in mind. Like I was saying, you have at least 4 pairs. From what I've read, correct me if I'm wrong, it's not a bad idea to go for the all pairs Yaku, which you can only do by keeping your hand closed because they're all pairs. So you can try to go for that if it seems feasible. Otherwise, just try to build your blocks. Some people really swear by the pairs. And it also ends up becoming a 2-tile wait. Wait, not a 2-tile wait, a 3-tile wait to finish your last pair. Oh, then that would be funny if you get to do it like that. If your pairs are all unconnected, then consider it. So let's look at our tiles here. So these tiles are... There's a higher chance it pivots to a normal end if your pairs are all unconnected. Alright, how about we actually try to go for that? So, if we needed to go back to a normal hand, we would probably keep this 8 pin. We just mentioned the lone Dora tile that we could end up trying to win on. And so if we drop this 5, it'll be kind of funny. Because if they try to do Suji, thinking that the 2 and the 8 are safer, then we'll get them good. We don't call pawn when we're trying to go for all pairs. So the question is, do we try to make a pair out of the white dragon, where there's only 2 more left of them, or the 4 possible copies of the 9-mon? I would personally say, especially in a real game, that I would keep this until somebody drops another one. Because if you're Ricci going for all pairs, you're gonna be like, yeah, there's no way. They're probably not going for a white dragon. It's just not as likely. And it's a fun little way to be tricky about your discards. Or someone else's discards. So I will drop this one. The east tile. One is already dropped. Sure, let's drop this one. Because if we end up going for a normal hand with triplets, it's both our seat and the round's wind at the same time, so it's worth double if we get a nice triple with that. So 6, 7, 7, and 8. I chose to drop that one just to maintain flexibility in our hand. So I'm a little bit lost in this one. So yeah, you suddenly have a normal hand because you can drop this 7, make it 6, 7, 8, or make that 2 separate blocks even. but you'd have to drop the 8 for this one. I think at this point it would be better to just go for a normal hand because we have this 2-3 that could be waiting on a 1 and a 4. Ah! Thank you for the follow, Fluffy note. Oh, no, I didn't see anything. Must have been a random sound effect. So we... Hold on, I'm listening to Korean. I need to fix that. Alright, so we would go for a normal hand over all pairs at this point, just because the 7 and 8 could wait on a 6 and 9. Same with the 6 and 7, 5 and 8. So that is our aim. That's what they were saying. Unless your pairs are all unconnected, you can see if it's an option for you. But it just naturally flowed into a flexible hand. So 3, 4. I will actually finish this shape, I believe. Wait. No. Yeah, what I'm gonna do actually is I'm going to keep this and start dropping the north tiles because our hand has a good potential to become Tanyao, which is all simples. So 2 through 8. It's not as likely because we could draw a 9, but we can keep that possibility open. Same with Pinfu. Well, not Pinfu, unless we make this a pair, and that's the plan. We'll see. We'll see. We're just keeping in mind the kind of potential we can make with our hand. And then you do all that thinking, and they win with the cheapest hand in the world. It's almost like you did that for nothing. That's Mahjong. Even AI poverty hands. When we were so early into the match too. Oh, okay. Now let's look at this again. So this time we do have a pair. And this right here could be a flexible shape in case the 9s become a triple. So if they become a triple and we end up on this last shape, our pair could be the 6 or the 9. I think we showed that in the other stream. But that's just something to keep in mind in terms of your options. So here I will drop the north. Do I drop the north tile? I would say yes. The west tile is neither our seed wind or the round's wind. You can choose to keep them, however, because towards the end, when people have their hands mostly built, and people call Richi, if you have a useless tile like this one, you could prevent yourself from getting shadow realmed because you have a safe tile to not get one shot. Rather than having all of those scary tiles instead. Okay, so I will likely drop this to 2-pin. Yes. The white dragon, not useful for us. Oh. So they dropped 3 and then a 4. So we don't do Suji for Richi tiles. What can we drop instead? Thinking. I would probably say a different suit. And probably the half Suji of the outside tiles. Or we could just push our hand. Oh, I do. That is true. I just didn't want to break my hand. I was gonna greet it. Because I wanted to still push my hand anyways. Hi, Tangle. Could they be waiting on this? Yeah, they actually could be waiting on Tumon with the setup right here. It's very, very dangerous. So let's see. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. They could be up to anything, really. This tile could be spooky, but it's unlikely. Because there's already been one dropped. Name it is East. Good evening. Welcome. We are trying to learn how to best show Mahjong in a palatable way. Okay, 3, 4, 4. So this is an 100% safe tile. It is quote unquote free. I'm actually hiding my power level in terms of how much I've spent on this gacha. Just trying to be humble. I'm not ashamed of that or anything. So we'll drop that. Not that useful for us. Oh, here we go. It's the round win, so we can call pawn for a faster hand because our shapes aren't looking very good, actually. And now most of the... I'll actually keep one of them. I'll give it a turn in case I pick up an extra pair of those tiles. Doesn't seem like it will, so I'll just start dropping them. You can use the fortune charm. I could. I really could. So I don't have a pair right now. If you remember, oh, never mind. I lied. I have a pair now. What my plan was is I kept this one, so we could have a 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and that could replace our lack of pairs if it manifests that way. Ah, free card. So for people, this helps people usually who are still closed because they can reach E and get all of the extra bonus tiles. But I do it for flow. That's fine with me. Well, look at that. It just completed itself. So 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9. Drop this for winning on 8, 6 tiles. We just poverty handed that cat girl. And we are not ashamed. Especially in an East game that only has 4 rounds. Fast hands have a higher priority in terms of winning. So I'll drop that tile that's already been dropped. 4, 6. Don't have a pair. These are lone tiles. I'll just I'll drop some more honor tiles so we can see how flexible our hand ends up looking. Drop that one since more people can use it. And now let's look at our potential blocks. 1. So then 4 and a 5, that's 2, 3, and possibly 4. Any one of these could end up being the 4th block. And whichever our pair turns up. So that said, my point in explaining all of that just now is that I want to justify keeping this over any of these lone tiles. So that you have a much more safe tile leading into later into the game. So again, if we have 4 potential blocks, we might as well just keep the safer tiles in our hand. Alright, So what does this hand look like? 2, 3, 4. So we can look at that as 2, 3, 4, and then 4, 6, 8. All right. I will likely. If I was against real people, I would keep this tile. But you can also choose. I would keep this tile and start dropping ones that aren't as likely to manifest. Because we have too many blocks now. And we have to pick the most efficient ones for our hand. I'll probably just do that, actually. Because we have a chance for half flush, the way it's looking. No, don't say run. Okay, that would have been really embarrassing. That would have been really embarrassing. What a hand. Holy. Just like that, I lost the game. Well, not lost, I got second place. So, I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the lesson that your main goal above being first place is to not be last. You lose so much more points by reaching last. Like it's a lot less painful if you end up in third place. Exactly. Like you might not be able to control being the first or second one all the time. Yeah, but you can definitely do a lot to prevent yourself from sinking all the way up to the last place. That is what you have a lot more control over. So that should be your main goal in this game. Because you can definitely apply a lot more of the defensive strategies to stop yourself from going to fourth place than the luck of the draw to finish your hand. Yep, it is a 4-player game. So if everybody's evenly skilled, you can expect to win a fourth of your hands. It's just the way of things. And depending on how you play, of course. 100% concentrated power will. I am praying now. Does Icy stream Mahjong Soul? I am blessed to have their presence today. Just one knowledgeable person of the game of Mahjong. Okay, let's look at our hand this time. This tile won't be useful for us, but it's better to throw away the dragon tiles. Or tiles people can make triplets out of early on, so they don't get to use it, more likely. Like, the only person who can really use this would be this person to our left with the south tile. And this one, throw it away early. We have either a complete set and a pair, or an incomplete block and a triplet. We can look at it in different ways. Just keeping that in mind. So 3, 5, 7. It's not a bad shape. I will most likely drop this 8 because it's alone and it's not likely to connect to anything as much. It also conflicts with the 5s. All right. Oh, we have a lot of pairs. 3 pairs, in fact. Unless. Okay. Just for the chance of getting all simples. In case we get a 6. We're gonna drop that 1 in advance. 3, 4, and 5. Can start looking into dropping these. I think that's it. I think that's good, right? Yeah, that might be a good one. Maybe. Because if we reach on waiting on the triple of 5 and the 3, dropping that 6 would be pretty tricky. Oh. We just confirmed Tanya with that one. Let's go! Alright then. I guess I'm not getting my one shot. Got me good. Were they trying to Suji? All the way from the 8th month? Drop this. We don't want anybody to do anything with that. I kind of like this one because if we get a 3, we have a nice potential shape there. 5, 6, and then the 9. 5, 6, 7. I'll drop this lone tile. Typically, if you're not sure what to drop, you should always, I would say, you should look towards the tiles that are not connected to anything or could connect to anything. Those are like a safe bet for building your hand properly. And green doesn't do anything for us. This could be 9, 7, 8, and 9. So we're going to keep this 9, I would say. That doesn't do much for us. And we already have a reliable pair, either with this one or this one. I'm going for a cheap hand up there. 3, 4, and 5. I'll drop this 7. Yeah, just feel the energy from the tiles if you don't know what to throw. That's what the ChatGPT would say. Accept the role luck plays in outcomes. Embrace challenges and strive for improvements, despite the setbacks. You've been at the stream long enough to know exactly that principle. You know what? I have a feeling all of the 7s are being hoarded right now. Just because of the current Dora indicator. Showing a 6, so the 7s are... Oh, look at that, a free 7. They dropped the 1, so that's 100% safe. Yeah, just part of the climb. Please don't run me. Ah! Okay. No cheat. Oh. Do we chase? Yeah. Don't follow my example. I just got sent to the Shadow Realm and I don't know if I'll be able to climb back out. But what's a climb without a mountain to climb on, right? I'm in pain. You can always climb. So we have a lot of potentials with this hand, I would say. And the least likely to manifest would be this 8 and a 9 that's just waiting on a 7. That's already been dropped, by the way. No, I got absolutely rolled on live stream. My reputation as a teacher is forever tarnished. That's right. We're still waiting for our dealer turn. Which, by the way, if you're not, if you have the dealer turn and you're not already at first place, you can just keep recycling rounds. Yep. You'll just keep on going until you are first. You can end up farming the whole lobby even. It'll only end when someone else wins. Lone tile doesn't do anything for us. Hoping we get another 9. We'll see. We have a lot of pairs actually, so we shouldn't be too worried about that. I don't know how this 2 fits into the hand, but I'm just gonna trust that it's helping. Because this can be a pair, then 2, 3, 4. And then you have a really spicy twice pure is what they call it. Where you have the same sequence in your hand twice. So 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. Our hand can do that because of the 2 we got. Pretty great, isn't it? Praying we do get that extra 6. Or even better, if we're waiting on the 6, and then we can shadow around the other cat girl for what they've done to us. In front of all these good people. I bet somebody was screaming at me to have called that tile just then. I refuse. I believe. Oh, I didn't realize how much time had passed. I wish it was the weekend so I can keep on playing. No. Huh, interesting. What even is this hand? We can go for a straight, full flush, I mean. Potential. It's probably too greedy. They have like the fastest hand in the West. Whoa, okay. I just saw a lot of numbers and I just clicked it. I saw a lot of numbers. It's a very cool shape. Yeah. What you got? I bet they're gonna push their hand. Oh no, they dropped safe tiles. No, they're chasing. How come they don't get shadow round, huh? Oh. Ah, never mind. They do get shadow round. Like I said, the goal is to not be last place. We're doing just that. Therefore, we are winning. Why wouldn't you play a game where 75% of the time, technically, you would say you won? I wouldn't call third place losing. I'd say I call it crisis averted. Know what I mean? Yep. Now we are the dealer. We can potentially farm if we just keep on winning. This 6, we can't really use this dragon tile at the moment unless we wanted to greed that. We have the 5, 6, 7 already in our hand, but we can turn into other shapes. So, we're counting on these. This will most likely be our pair. We'll see. By the way, generally you don't want to give up your pairs if you had to choose. Because it becomes more difficult to get more pairs into your hand towards the end. And you don't want to be waiting on a pair. That would be extremely painful for you. Oh, I like that. So, let's see. I will probably drop... I'll drop that 9. So now we have those pairs. Probably drop another 7. They're doing it for flow. There's no other... I don't think I even called it enough hands. Well, I did have a poverty hand of some kind. Imagine if they flipped up my Dora. I'd be so happy. I mean, they did it for the 6. We can actually go for Tanya with this hand. Since our hand does not have any honors, it's all 2 through 8. We can try to keep up pace by calling Chi-Pon Tanya. No! Okay. They're just trying to roleplay the new anime. They left? Okay, I was gonna say. G. So we'll drop the 6. I have it. Oh. No! How could this happen? Alright, well, good thing is that we're... Could be worse. As long as we stop them from winning. Like, as long as they don't win and potentially come back, we're in a good spot. It's eased over. Unless I manage to run the person in front of me. There's always that chance. I already have 1 Dora. Put this away so that an east person doesn't get to use it. Yep, that's what I thought. Give up on it. Sure, if I'll drop this one, maybe we can get a pair. Okay, well, that's very nice. So we'll drop... I think we... Do we have enough blocks? I'd say so. So I'll drop this 9. It's not really efficient for anything in particular, I believe. Keep the north, just in case they do a little reachy. Drop this 1. Potential. Double sequence. Closed hand. 2 Dora. Sent to the shadow room. No! That's why we have this north tile. Well, they didn't care. They just dropped that 6 like it's nothing. But they don't really have a choice. They are the dealer. And already in last place, so they might as well try. Oh man. Okay, we can drop this one. That is a 100% safe tile. We're just playing Russian tile roulette. Scare them a bit because they just got run. And it's just a skip. Oh, they dropped the 1, so half Suji, right, guys? I'm quitting my job. Someone else take over Mahjong Mondays. I officially submit my resignation. I knew I shouldn't have done it, but then I did. That is life. Sometimes in life you have to know when to quit. It happens. Anyways, thanks a lot for coming. Oh, Vanilla loves chocolate. I like your choice of video game connoisseurship. We have just gone through a very prestigious kind of lesson today. Going over the super basics, I know, but thank you for following too. I shall make it worth your while in the next Mahjong Monday. Exactly. Oh no, me speaking Korean in my ear. But yes, thanks again for everybody coming, especially the big raid, and helping me so much with improving the teaching quality today. I'll see you guys in the next one, alright? Take care, y'all. I need to get those emotes too, by the way. Bye bye.